Alright everybody, welcome back. This is now video 4 in the series of Google Drive videos. For this video, we are going to talk about organizing your Google Drive, and there are a lot of different ways in which you can do that. So, you can star things, you can create folders, priority, shared drives, things of that nature. So let's go ahead and get started with something. So I'm going to go up to New, and I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to call this folder Google Drive folder. All right, and I'm going to create that folder, and so now that folder is going to be here, Google Drive folder. Okay, so now I have a folder, and so let's say I wanted to create a document. All right, so I'm going to create a document, and I'm going to call this document here. I'm going to call it doc number 1 for Google Drive folder. Very creative, I know. All right, and I put whatever text that I was going to put there. Okay, so that's done. I've created this document. Say I put the name, date. All right, just to have a couple pieces of information. Now I'm going to close that, and now I'm going to be back here. Now you see that that document now lives there. Let's say I wanted to add another document to that, of all the gazillions of documents that I have in here. So let's say here, let's say I want to move this. So I highlight this document. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say move to. And now it's going to bring up all the folders in my drive. And so let's say I want to go to the Google Drive folder, and I want to move it there. Now if I go back to my Google Drive folder, that document's going to be there as well. So that is one way to organize things, is by creating folders, putting your documents in those folders. Along with creating the folder, I can give this folder a color as well to help organize it. So I can right click on this folder, and I have all my options. One of the options is change color. So let's say I wanted to make this a nice spearmint green. Okay, so now that is a nice green color. Makes it a little bit easier for me to see. Right? The other way that I can organize myself is I can star things. So I can, again, right click on this folder. Let's say this is a folder that I really am going to start using a lot. Really need to have quick and easy access to this folder. So I right click on it. I'm going to go down to add to starred. Okay, so now this folder is add to starred. So if I go to the starred section over here, folders are going to be up at the top. You will now see Google Drive folder right there. Okay. So that is another quick and easy way to do it. Let's say I also wanted to do that with a presentation. So here's a presentation I gave at Visti last year. Let's say I wanted to star that. It was something that I was going to be using more. Add to starred. Now if I go to starred, it'll be somewhere in the mix. Here it is right there. Okay? So that is another way to organize yourself. A third way to organize things is through the priority tab within Google Drive, and this has become my favorite way to keep myself organized this school year. So this feature was added last year to Google Drive, kind of towards the middle of the year, around March of last school year. I didn't really play around with it until the start of this school year, and I fell in love with it right away. So up at the top you have the priority section, and this is just anything that you have created or opened recently. Okay, it also predicts what you're going to want to work on at different parts of the day. So if you tend to always work on in a folder or on a certain file in the afternoon or in the evening or in the morning, then that file is going to show up here in this priority section. Okay, along with, again, as I mentioned, things that you've opened up recently. That's not the cool part about the priority tab. What I find really awesome and has been extremely helpful to me is this workspaces section. So as you can see, I've created basically outward facing folders is kind of how I describe it, where I have different sections. So admin, lit.bic, portrait of a graduate, presentations I'm working on, things related to myself and Karin, things related to central office and things pushed down to me from central office, my own to-do list of things that I'm working on. And so I create these workspaces, and then I can put in documents as they're important to me and as I need to work on them. And then when I'm done with these documents, I can just get rid of them. Okay, so here I'll give you an example. So I go up to workspaces and I'll press create, and I'll do example. Okay, that's going to create another workspace here, and now I can add files. So I'm just going to add these random files that it suggests. You don't have to. It's going to give you suggestions on the screen of things that maybe you want to put in there. You don't have to use those. Okay, you can choose other files. All right, but for this example and for saving time, I'm just going to go ahead and click on these documents. Okay, and so I'm going to add those to my workspace, and then I can add more if I want. Okay, but for now I'm done. So I've added some examples here to my example workspace folder. Okay, so now if I wanted to get into that document, I just simply click on it. It's going to launch that document, and I'm ready to get started. Okay. When I'm done with that, so let's say this was important to me for the time being, but now, I don't need that document anymore. I'm done with that. I moved past it. It's taking up space I no longer need. I'm going to click on the three dots. Then I'm going to go to remove from workspace, and now it's gone. Okay. And if I go back to, let's say, my drive, okay, and let's say I wanted to add this Google slide that I just created, I can right click on it, and let's say I want to add it to my workspace. So I want to add it to my example workspace. I'm going to click on example. It's going to be added. So when I go back to priority, go to example, I now have, yep, right there, copy of TextFlix Professional Development template. Okay, so that is another way to organize yourself, and this is one that I have found extremely helpful to me. Another way to organize yourself is, let's say you have a document, you want it to live in a couple different folders. Okay, so I have this blended learning infographic that I created. All right, so let's say I want it to live in two spaces. I want it to live in my drive, but I also want it to live in a different folder. Okay, so how you can do that is if you press Shift-Z. So typically, if I just wanted to move this, okay, move to, it's going to have a blue button here, okay? But when I do Shift-Z, now you notice that it's green. So now I want it to be in my drive, and it's also going to live in, let's say I want it to live in FCPS on. Okay, so now you see the infographic has been added to FCPS on. So now it still lives here in my drive, but now if I go to my FCPS on folder, you'll see that it also now lives there as well. So that is another way to organize yourself. And then the last way to organize yourself is obviously with shared drives. Okay, especially if it's a group of people you're working with, just makes it easy to have a shared drive. You can put a bunch of things in there that you're all working on together. Just makes it nice and easy. So you can quickly and easily make a shared drive by going to New, typing in what you want the title of that shared drive to be. So again, I'll go example shared drive. All right, I'm going to press create. And it's still working for some reason. Give it a moment. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Didn't let me create a shared drive. Let's try again. There we go. So now I have a shared drive. I can add people, so I'm the only person in here now. Okay. but I can add members to my shared drive, and I can also add content. So I could go back to my drive, and let's say I wanted to take, I don't know. Say I wanted to take this. Again, I could move to. So I right-clicked on the document, move to, and then I'm going to press the back arrow, and I'm going to go to Shared Drives, and I'm going to go to Example and Move. And this is now going to remove that document from my drive and add it to my new, wherever my shared drive went, there we go, my new shared drive. Okay, so again, those are really quickly different ways in which you can organize yourself within Google Drive.